Dozens of people were lined up surrounding the intersection behind me, watching cars go nuts. Yeah, Chris, police are gone from the scene right now, but you can see some of the crime scene tape that is left behind me here. She said she didn't want to answer any questions.
No comment.
And tried to rip the microphone from my hands.
Well, why don't you have insurance on it?
You can see just how close they were working. U.S. Marshals here at the scene of the traffic stop, and right next to me, Akron police. However, the city went ahead and fired the officer because of what happened here in the parking lot of Beechwood Place. Knowing that, could officials make a faster decision next time? We haven't spoken to the mayor here at City Hall face-to-face in months. We got some action. Just Tuesday afternoon, the Hall of Fame parade organizers added this to their website, allowing people to purchase ADA seats online. A spokesperson with the Cleveland Indians tells us their online option went away because of pod-style seating. 19 Investigates requested the number of exemption applications that came in to Ohio colleges, including the University of Akron. Show that you're leasing that space.
Madam Chair, now that
Ms. Catlett,
this is not pertinent to the meeting.
No, it is not. And Ms. Catlett, we cannot permit your questioning of our councilperson at this time.
19 Investigates kicked out of a city council meeting while trying to find out why a high-ranking city official is involved with an illegal after-hours club. Now, the Euclid City Councilman was seen on video at that Cleveland bar on the night of a deadly shooting, Tiffany.
Our Hannah Catlett explains his link to the club in this 19 News investigation.
19 Investigates uncovered a paper trail connecting that Euclid City Councilman to this building where police say that illegal establishment has been operating for years.
Hey, where'd she get shot at?
A city leader caught on camera at an illegal after-hours club the night of an unsolved murder.
All right, get her out on the street.
On the right is video of Euclid City Councilman Marcus Epps in a council meeting Wednesday night. On the left is video of a man carrying a shooting victim out of the illegal nightclub. Police say it's his voice you hear talking to officers in newly released body camera footage.
But it's a crime scene. We gotta see. Gotcha. We gotta find bullet fragments and everything.
We told you when we discovered officers knew about the illegal activity going on here for years before a young mother was shot and killed here in October.
Listen, this has been going on after hours, and you know this stuff's gonna happen. Like, you know this.
The new footage we obtained is blacked out because officers are inside the establishment, which is considered private property.
Whose house is this?
There should be nobody out the lease to the place.
A source sent 19 Investigates this copy of a 2020 lease for 2904 Woodhill Road. Court records show the state foreclosed on this property 3 years ago. But the former owner is still making $1,000 a month renting the building out to the OFC group. According to this article in the News Herald, Epps lists his employer as the OFC group. We compared this signature on the lease to Epps' signature on his campaign finance statement on file with the state. The OFC group's business license on file with the state lists Taryn Lindsay as the owner. According to court records, Lindsay and Epps have worked together for years. She's listed as his deputy treasurer on the campaign statement. This building right here off of Lorraine Avenue is listed as the OFC group's address. We came here today to see if anyone could talk to us about that Woodhill Road property. No answer. In the police report from the night of the murder, officers say Lindsay told him she was, quote, hosting a birthday party. The city of Cleveland did not release that portion of the body camera footage to us, but officers write here that Lindsay was very evasive. We called the number listed for the tenant on the lease. I'm calling with 19 News. The person who answered said she'd never lived here. Do you know a Taryn Lindsay? She said no. Or Marcus Epps. As you can see, City Hall is closed due to the pandemic. We came here to try to find Epps. We called him from the parking lot.
Thank you for calling the voicemail box for Councilman Marcus Epps.
But no answer. Epps sits on the Euclid Council's safety committee.
In June of 2020, I introduced legislation to try to address the issues we deal with crime in respect to absentee landlords.
After he stopped responding to our emails, 19 Investigates confronted him in Wednesday night's safety committee meeting on Zoom. Yeah, my question is for Mr. Epps. However, when we began to talk,
Madam Chair, point of order.
Epps interrupted.
The purpose of Ms. Catlett here tonight has nothing to do with the discussion.
Oh, it does. Then the chairperson and law director ultimately kicked us out of the meeting.
Madam Chair, now that this is not pertinent to the meeting.
No, it is not. And Ms. Catlett, we cannot permit your questioning of our councilperson at this time.
Darnella Wilson is the woman Epps carried out of the club. She told us she'd paid good money to get in this night.
Do you remember how much it was? 20.
She and her mother have now been asking for months, why is no one being held accountable for what's going on here? In January, the city of Cleveland told us that plans were in the works to condemn this building and possibly demolish it. But here we are months later, and the building still stands.
Something needs to be done. I just want it done, closed down.
Ken Johnson is the Cleveland councilman over the ward where this club sits. We went to him last fall when we discovered the illegal activity here.
No, I had no idea.
After Johnson was indicted on separate, unrelated federal fraud charges last month, residents remain wondering who is fighting for them in this issue once again. HANNAH.B.CATLETT, 19 News.
Oh, you already redeemed them as vicious.
The owner of 5 dogs deemed dangerous and vicious defends herself and her animals.
You know what? I feel like you guys are railroading me. I have done everything that—
Amanda Ramos faces criminal charges after North Olmsted police say 5 pit bulls got out of her house and attacked people twice in 2 weeks.
What you guys want is to take my dogs and put them down.
It is, according to the animal control officer, who said he believes the dogs cannot be trusted to live with Ramos.
That stays in their psyche.
Here in North Olmsted or anywhere else.
It's really hard to get that out. I would have the dogs put down.
They're not savable. They're vicious and dangerous.
Marge Bowden was one of 3 victims the dogs bit on May 13th.
This has got to stop. I mean, I have to get my life back.
Ramos admitted the dogs are not registered with the city, nor does she have the liability insurance the city requires because of their breed. 10 days after the first attack, this officer testified he went to Ramos's home. He got bit too.
Yeah.
But why did the city give the dogs back after the first attack? Couldn't the second bite have been prevented had the city just taken custody of the animals?
A lot of the boarding facilities are full.
The animal control officer said the city hasn't had anywhere to put the dogs.
Our kennel, we can't handle that many.
And therefore left them in Ramos's possession. He said Ramos has not been compliant, though, with orders to kennel them at her own expense until the city could meet to determine whether to put the dogs down for good.
And that's what needs to be done. Yes. Okay. Yeah, but you are bleeding to death.
Ramos yelling at Bowden as she left early.
Yeah, because with the officer approach, you act like you were dying. He asked for an ambulance, and you so refused one. I went to the ER, lady. I went to the ER. Whatever. You're a hypochondriac. Get the hell out. Oh, great.
After this spat in front of everyone, we followed Ramos out.
Can you tell me why you want to keep the dogs?
Oh, are you Hannah? Go yourself, Hannah.
On the first floor, she said she didn't want to answer any questions.
No comment.
And tried to rip the microphone from my hands.
Well, why don't you have insurance on them? Where are they right now?
I don't know.
You don't know where the dogs are?
I have no idea, honey.
Storming off, she left us with one last comment, though.
They just might be in your backyard. Bye!
It was kangaroo court up there.
As Councilman Chris Glassburn was leaving, he told 19 Investigates he has a big problem with the way all of this has gone on.
I left that hearing today. I don't know where those dogs are. And they are clearly threats to residents in North Olmsted or any other city.
It seems the process after a dog attack varies city to city. 19 Investigates confirmed today that another jurisdiction took custody of some pit bulls involved in an attack at the end of May. More on that case and how it differs from this one coming up later this week. HANNAH.B.CATLETT, 19 News.
Is it fair to say that some students may be lying about a religious conviction here?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Universities across Ohio released forms like these when they announced they'd begin mandating the COVID vaccine this fall. Students can request a medical, religious, or conflict of conscience exemption.
I think a lot of people misunderstand this issue.
Alex Mortenson's a student at the University of Akron. We introduced you to him at 6. He wants to remain unvaccinated, but hasn't signed one of these because he has concerns about the rights he may be giving up if he did. However, he knows several people who have submitted for an exemption.
It's mostly because they feel they don't need it.
Mortenson leads an organization protesting the vaccine mandate on campus and gave us insight into what the students who have turned in exemption forms are saying on them.
I think quite a few of them, they really have other concerns but are putting down that they have religious concerns because they are afraid that they might not get it otherwise.
19 Investigates requested the number of exemption applications that came in to Ohio colleges, including the University of Akron. At last check, Akron says it's received and reviewed 85 exemption applications. A committee approved 59% of them and denied the remaining 41%. Kent State says it's just started the review process and has so far approved 43% of the 168 requests from students and denied 10%. Ohio State says its review board approved exemptions for about 70% of the 3,050 students who'd applied as of last week. Only 3% of the requests have been denied so far, largely due to a missing document or incomplete forms, according to a spokesperson. We don't have a breakdown showing which category the most exemption requests came in for, or whether one reason students are listing is being accepted more than another. However, 19 Investigates discovered an ongoing discussion about that in this public Facebook group called College Students Against Mandatory COVID Vaccines. Here you can read along as Kent, Akron, Ohio State, Cincinnati, and OU students and parents coach each other through the exemption process.
I think it's certainly worrying to me when people feel the need to, cover up what they feel just to try to make sure they get what they need.
Many saying the easiest way to succeed is to request a religious exemption, and if you can, get a pastor to sign off on it.
I don't know that I have any particular skill or ability to be able to speak to somebody's religious views about the vaccine any better than they can speak for themselves. But for some people, that apparently holds weight.
Reverend Terry Williams says he's been approached to see if he would sign off on several religious exemptions from the vaccine.
I have no authority officially from the state at all. So it was just very odd that people were asking me to be an arbiter.
Williams says he refused to sign the document.
I don't think your religious values matter when it comes to public policy and public health.
However, 19 Investigates discovered that some leaders apparently do. One parent posted a link to this website in the group, saying she got a pastor's signature on a religious exemption form simply by filling this out and sending it to the provided email address.
It is a Wild West situation.
Reverend Williams is part of an interfaith organization called Faith in Public Life.
Broad organization, coalition of faith leaders.
Including not only Christian clergy, but those in the Jewish faith, imams, and even humanist leaders.
Is there any religious leader in that group who said, yeah, that would be against my religion to get the vaccine?
None that I am aware of.
While Reverend Williams wants universities to stop allowing religious exemptions to the mandate, Mortenson believes it would just be better to get rid of the mandate altogether.
I don't, supposed to know what people's religious beliefs are.
And how can you tell?
Right.
The good intention of keeping people safer compromised, because as we uncovered, anyone can seemingly find a way out of the requirement. Hannah Catlett, 19 News.
Interestingly enough, both at Akron and Ohio State, spokespeople tell us if a student